Welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the closing action on the D Street. With me is also Shel Bhatnagar on the show. We've been looking at the markets who are now recovering from the lowest point of the trade and again are inching towards the high point at 22,748 right now. The Nifty is hovering higher on the back of gains that are being seen on heavyweights like Reliance Industries and several banks also that are pulling up the markets higher. So from the private banking space, you do have banks like Kotak Mahindra Bank that are inching up. From public sector, you have SBI that's pulling up the markets. Of course, apart from it, the story from morning has been all about the metals shining bright and the oil and gas space also showing some strength, and those are the kind of pockets that are also looking good as of now. Shel.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You have the weekly expiry of the Nifty and the Bank FT today. Remember, tomorrow is a holiday, and next week itself is another truncated day. The middle of the week, Wednesday, is a holiday because of Ram Navami. So we have seen options premier getting squeezed as quickly as possible. Let me run you through where market action is at that point of time. While Nifty and Bank Nifty seem to be having an odd, good weekly expiry on the last trading day, it's actually the PSU basket which is taking it away. When you look at the advance decline ratio and then when you look at the top gainers, it's the Nifty PSU banking index, which is 1.5% higher, 7291, and all sorts of shares, whether it's SBI, whether it's Canara Bank, whether it's Bank of Maharashtra, all these counters are doing pretty well. Bank of Baroda at 271.60 is at its day's high. State Bank of India 778.50 is at its day's high. PNB 136.60 days high, and all of these gains are fairly strong. Out of the 12 stocks that make up the Nifty PSU banking index, about 7 of them are in the green. Let's look at stocks where a lot of money is moving in, and these are stocks that have hit record highs today. Among them, well-known names, Petronet LNG. This is from the PSU basket, 304.50, about 5.5% higher. We've discussed Indigo Threadbare, almost touching 3,800 today, 4% higher. A strong move coming in Tata Power, 433, 0.7% higher. Hindustan Zinc, 401, 0.5% higher. BEL, Zomato, Tata Power, KSB. These are some of the names where a lot of money is moving in, and these stocks are in fresh record territory. Where is strong volume? Well, it's Jubilant Ingravia, 12% higher with about 61 lakh shares traded. This is 12 times the 5-day average. And what's really interesting is United Spirits, McDowell's. Remember, summer is upon us, and it's the beverage companies that take care of our parched throats. McDowell or United Spirits, being the largest beer producer, has hit a record high, 1,200 rupees, 6% higher on very, very heavy volumes of 36 lakh shares, which is about 6 times the average. Apart from that, strong moves are being seen on Vedant, on GMDC, on EID Parry, and of course on NMDC. These are stocks that we've already discussed. We are waiting for Vaishali Parekh to join us. She's the VP for Technicals at Prabhudas Leeladhar. I think she's here. Good morning, good afternoon to you, Vaishali. An odd expiry today. Nifty in full flow, 100 points higher. Bank Nifty 230 points higher, 48,962. It's a crisis of plenty. How are you seeing the market today, and what are your thoughts on any one of these indices?
Very good afternoon, Sakshi and Shelji, and thanks for having me on the show. Yes, so well, for Nifty, we have been witnessing resistance at 22,800 for this week. So I don't think there is much of movement happening in Nifty, but Bank Nifty today did breach the previous high, and I think there is still a lot of upside that one can look in Bank Nifty for now, because 49,500, that would be the next level that we would be looking at. And to support my view, well, we have the SBI, which has also given a breakout about 775. So yes, I think Bank Nifty is the sector that I would focus on right now.
Bank Nifty is the index that you'll focus on. Would you give us your top 2 or 3 bets from the PSU banking space that's in the thick of action, back in action again? A lot of these second rung PSU banks now coming up in trade.
So yes, SBI is my favorite pick. 760 would now be the stop loss, and I would look at a target of 800, 820 to start from.
Okay, SBI is the favorite pick right now, about 2% higher. There are higher targets that Vaishali expects on this one as well. Apart from this, is banking, private banking space also something that interests you, Vaishali? At this point in time, we are looking at a few stocks that have been buzzing. So yesterday it was ICICI, today it's Kotak. How are you really looking at these momentary, higher levels that we are seeing on all of them?
So today we are seeing good momentum coming in Kotak Bank. In fact, even Axis did show some momentum, but for now, the focus is more on the PSU banks. But yes, it's a wait and watch because they all need to participate for Bank Nifty to go higher.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's quiz Vaishali on a lot of other stocks. Vaishali, of course, you are our lady luck, and see, it's the weekly expiry, and the fact that both indices were supposed to trade flat, they haven't. They're also enjoying your presence, and with that background, let's start work on stocks that catch our attention. I think the first to be watched should be Tata Consumer. This is moving in a fairly spectacular kind of a move. Tata Consumers at the moment is 1145, trying to break past many of its averages. How do you see this stock, and where do you think this is headed?
So I think, well, we saw some consolidation happening in this, and right now we are seeing decent volume. It's giving a bounce. What is important is that it needs to sustain above 1155 levels. So if we see the stock moving past that, then I think it's ready for retesting the previous high of 1200 plus. So that's how I would look at the stock.
Okay, and it's at least my favorite, but also a favorite of the market, a record high on United Spirits, better known as McDowell's in the market, 6% higher, heavy volumes. Summer is upon us. How do you rate the produce and how do you rate the stock?
So the stock is in a very strong uptrend, and I think today's move also, and I'm seeing the weekly chart also, it's showing a lot of strength. Not a good buying opportunity right now, but if one is holding, one can continue holding the stock, looking for a target of 1250 to 1300 from here on.
Okay, since we're talking summer, travel is something which is on everybody's mind as well, and it's Indigo that's been taking away record high levels for this one now, especially after the big aircraft order the company has announced. Of course, 10 A320 new planes that's been published as far as the Airbus data is concerned, and that's perhaps the reason why Interglobe Aviation is now trading at days high and at record high, 4.5% higher in trade. Vaishali, what would be the next targets for you on Indigo?
I think it could go towards 4,200, and in all likelihood, if we see the momentum continuing in the market, this stock can go to 5,000 levels also.
This can go to 5,000 levels also. So, viewers, here you are looking at Interglobe Aviation, 3797, 5,000 levels also coming in. Strength looks pretty positive on the charts as per Vaishali on this one as well. Let's again look at some of the other buzzing spaces. Of course, summer is something that we're discussing, and FMCG stocks will be back in flavor because there are reports of heat wave, there are reports of normal monsoon. That brings us back to the discussion on the rural recovery and, of course, the rural demand as well. And that's what FMCG space really bets on. ITC is doing well at this point in time, 2.5% higher at day's high level. But this entire space has been a laggard. Vaishali, do you see some of the stocks at least pulling away from the lackluster trade that we have witnessed thus far on this space?
So I would definitely agree with you, Sakshi, because to my mind, as far as the FMCG counter is concerned, I still look at Nestle, and of course ITC is the first stock that I would always look at. So ITC, yes, gradually elevating towards the resistance. It's a 200-day moving average resistance at 440 levels. So once we see a decent move past that 440, 445, that cluster of resistance that we see, I think the stock is ready for a target of 460 from here on. So this is the first stock that I would always go for as far as FMCG is concerned.
All right, so this is the first one that you will be betting big on. The other one is the top mover on the Nifty right now, and that is Coal India, the power space. That again, of course, is going to be the summer theme that everybody will be looking at, with of course expectations of higher power demand coming in, and therefore Coal India is again, topping the day's high move, 3.7% higher, 456 right now. This has been a wealth creator over the last 1.5 years odd. How much more steam is left, Vaishali, according to you, on Coal India now?
I think today's candle, after a good consolidation, it's coming out of its consolidation range. So right now we are seeing the stock at 456. It can do 462. Above that, that would be acting as a resistance, 462, 465 levels. Above that, it would be ready for 480 again.
Okay, 480 again. That's the level that you will be watching out for. And apart from Coal India, are there any other power specific names that you are interested in? I can see a whole host of them again coming back in shape. So be it Power Grid, be it NTPC, NHPC, the power financiers are back, RECPFC, they're also doing well at this point in time. Anything else that looks attractive to you, maybe from the mid and the small cap power space as well, that you could highlight?
So again, the stock that I always mention on your channel also is Tata Power once again. So, well, Tata Power, we have been recommending to our clients also since in the recent past, right from say around 390 levels. So right now it's on the verge of a breakout. We did see this stock attempting to move past 435 levels, but we have our trading target of 450, and for a positional trade, we would be looking at 480 also. So this is one of the stocks that I do like. REC, I'm not a bit too sure because, well, I have been tracking it. It is consolidating. So if one has to get into the stock, 430 acts as a good support level, and one can buy REC. And further conviction comes only above 475, 480. So 430 becomes a support band, and above 480, it's ready again for higher.
Which means another 45 minutes of trade is left. Remember, tomorrow is a holiday, and the next week is also a shortened week of 4 trading sessions. Given that in mind, let's look at the kind of moves that are coming in within the index heavyweights. Vaishali, I'd like to attract your attention to TCS. The reason why I asked that is on Friday we have corporate numbers rolling out, and TCS will be first of the block. 15 rupees higher, 39.61. How do you think the chart is positioned?
So, well, I think, I'm seeing the whole IT index to start with. 34,500 acts as a very crucial support. If you see the IT index, it has corrected and there isn't really happened in the index. So, to start with TCS and all these Infosys, TCS, they all have a similar pattern. So I would say that even for a positional, we don't really play results, but it is worth accumulating from here on if I'm talking about the sector on the whole. So to start with TCS, I would say yes, 3,800 would act as a stop loss. And well, if the results are favorable, this we could see a gap up opening and perhaps go towards 42, 4,300. So I would definitely take my chance to get into IT stocks from here on.
Okay, and another stock that's really buzzing in the space is Canara Bank. The price that you see, 616, is in the vicinity of its earlier high of May 211. So that makes it about a 14-year high on the stock, and this is accompanied by fairly decent volumes here. Vaishali, what are the charts of Canara Bank telling you? You've picked SBI as your main pick, but a lot of action coming on this one as well.
Yes, I do agree because we are seeing, as we just mentioned, that yes, new strength we are seeing in the PSU sector. So I think this is very likely, the way chartically we are seeing, it would move past 618 and we would look at a target of 640 from here.
Okay. The other space that is ticking higher is some names from the chemical space again. So Naveen Fluorine, for example, that's moving up 6.5% higher in trade right now. Aarti Industries is again up in the F&O space about 5.8%. And along with it, a lot of stocks like SRF are also doing the routes. Let's also pull up Deepak Nitrite even and see other stocks also if that's a buzz across the sector. And then ask Vaishali, how would you really assess the move across the space, and if there is, yes, so Deepak Nitrite is also up by 4.4% right now. How are you looking at this fresh move in the entire chemical space after some bit of consolidation that we saw?
I would say it's time to enter into chemical sector, though. I mean, it is, this is one of the sectors which has really not participated. And now, of course, among all, I am seeing Aarti has been an outperformer. In fact, we have been recommending this stock right from 450 levels, and today, once again, a new breakout and is going. So if I'm seeing the weekly chart, monthly chart, it's quite likely that this stock can go to even 1,000 levels. So as you compare this with other stocks like Deepak Nitrite, Naveen Fluorine, they are all very fairly placed. In fact, even all the cash category, if you look at Kiri Industries, Archean, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, it's called ACI. That's also getting a new round of momentum. I think this is a good valuation-wise, good sector to really focus on, and one should start cherry picking good quality stocks.
So your top 2 or 3 bets, which ones would those be?
So, well, right now, as I said, Aarti we have already recommended, but Deepak Nitrite is another stock to my liking that I would be focusing on. In fact, UPL also cannot be ruled out. Tata Chemicals has already surged. If you see UPL just purely on chartical pattern, it's already made a double bottom and now it's surging high. So I think this is just the beginning. Near-term resistance in UPL could be 520, 525. Above that, I won't be surprised if it goes towards 580 and higher. So that's how I would be looking at each and every stock. And in fact, in the cash category, we've already recommended say Tatva, also Kiri, and ACI. These are all good stocks which are at fair value. And if our view goes right, I think there's lots to gain in these stocks.
Lots to gain in these stocks. Good time to enter chemical stocks. A lot of names have been suggested by Vaishali, so viewers can keep an eye out on all of those as well. Metal space, Vaishali, Vedanta leading, of course, right from the morning trade. It's been holding on to its position 7% higher in trade, but across the board there is buying. We have discussed this space many a times over as well before. Are there any newer names that you're adding on to your list in terms of the metal move that we are witnessing now?
So I would say, see, metal, we have been, of course, everyone has been really focusing because this was a sector which was showing a lot of clarity and an upward projection. So yes, Vedanta, we still continue to be bullish on this, and we have our targets open of 380 levels. Likewise, even Hind Copper has given a breakout even on monthly chart. So for a long-term period, because we may see some whipsaws in between, because these stocks have really given a good run-up. But Hind Copper, we are looking at 400, 420 as targets. Likewise, even SAIL, we would look at a 180, 190 as a long-term trade. And we saw a monthly breakout coming in at 133. So these are all the stocks. I would not go for momentum trades at this juncture, but yes, those who have bought at lower levels should continue holding.
Okay, staying with the PSU theme, as also in the metals and mining sector, one stock that deserves attention today is Coal India. Vaishali, what are the charts telling you? We've seen a very, very decent run up, very quiet ever since morning started. It's now up 4%, and it is accompanied by a 5% rise in open interest, which is substantial. Coal India for you.
So 465 acts as a near-term resistance. I think if you see a breakout about that, again, once again, 480.
Okay. The reason why Coal India has to be kept in mind is that if power stocks are surging, on the charts, peak power consumption is upon us, and the fact that it's going to rise dramatically over the next 2 months or so, starting last week. There is absolutely no possibility of these companies functioning without Coal India increasing its production of coal, and therefore you see this long trade happening in sync with Tata Power, happening in sync with JSW Energy, the likes of Adani Power. All the sourcing for coal comes from Coal India, and therefore you see the trade being run simultaneously on the long side with a lot of power stocks and Coal India. Let's look at the possibility, Vaishali, of an outperformance coming in from ITC in next week. Very strong momentum in ITC. Unfortunately, today being blocked by 200-day moving average, 436.60. What does next week for ITC look to you?
So, well, as I think even last time we spoke about it and the stock was at around 420 levels, I maintain my positive view. So, about 445, if this stock has to go, we would be looking at 460. So, yes, it's a positive view for now.
Okay. Let's pull out some more stocks. Oil and gas, Vaishali, how are you looking at the fresh move here? Of course, this space never went out of flavor. There was a constant news flow around crude oil prices now surging. There was some nervousness. They've settled back again, and the entire space is back up in action. How would you be playing this technically, both the upstream and the downstream spaces?
So I would say yes, let's start with Reliance. Reliance is holding very well. And 2800, 2820 acts as a very crucial support. We have a projected target of 3150 to 3300 levels. So if Nifty really has to move past 2800, 22,800, then these are the stocks which should contribute to the up move. So yes, I have a positive view on Reliance Industries. And along with that, I am also focusing on ONGC and GAIL, that is Gas Authority. So, of course, in the cash category, we do have Oil India and also overall the view is positive.
Okay, got that. So that's the view is positive as of now, as far as this space is concerned. But you know, Vaishali, I wanted to ask you to focus on the mid and the small caps, especially the small caps, and tell us your view here. Why I'm asking you this is, even though that the index is holding up about 0.7% higher, when we talk about the mutual fund flows, Amphi's data has come out just about few minutes or an hour back, and the indication is that of course equity inflows have slumped 16% in the month of March, even though the SIP flows have remained above 19,000. It's the small cap funds that have witnessed outflows for the first time in 30 months, and this is of course following what SEBI chairperson had indicated as steps to be taken by mutual fund organizations. But how do you see this outflow? Would it mean something for all the investors who've been going big on the small cap space ever since the rally started?
So let's start with the small cap sector. But I mean, I think right now there is no sign of weakness. We are seeing double top formation at 16,690 levels. So I don't see there is any cause of concern right now. But if we see a corrective move coming in from here, then it could be definitely a cause of concern. But right now there are no, in fact, even the indicators are not showing any signs of fatigue. So I think maybe it's just taking a breather, but there is no weakness for now.
Okay, and the mid-cap space is continuously at a record high level. We are seeing constant move here, 1% higher in this space. Would you still look out for some stocks that you can give us from the mid and the small cap space that one can keep an eye out on?
So, well, I think stocks selection is what is appropriate at these levels, because I think PVR comes in the small cap category. I mean, and we were just looking at the media sector, and media sector is showing signs of revival. So I think have a look at PVR as far as risk reward ratio is concerned. I think it's very fairly placed, and if the view goes right in this, we will be seeing a good run up coming in PVR. Sun TV, I mean, media sector on the whole. So these are the stocks, as I said, even the chemical sector. So, well, I would focus on these selective stocks for now.
Okay. 33 minutes left for the day to end. The Nifty exactly 100 points higher, 22,743. The Bank Nifty now 245 points higher, 48,990 for you. Strong moves coming in across the board in the IT and the NSE 500 index. Remember yesterday there was a prediction made by a private weather forecaster, SkyMet, which said that this year's monsoon will be normal and will be 102% of the long-term average. Maybe that is something that has enthused the market at current levels, and given the fact that we are having a twin expiry, the Nifty as well as the Bank Nifty today, it's rather surprising the kind of gains that the index has shown. Okay, we look at the contributory skin as far as the Nifty is concerned. ITC, remember I just checked it. This is a stock which is most likely to be something to look forward to on Friday, and from then on. It's contributed 23 points to Nifty's rally of 100 points. It's the biggest contributor. Remember, this is ahead of Reliance. Reliance has contributed 22 points. Kotak, Bharti Airtel and Infosys respectively 16, 14 and 13 points for the index. What's pulling it down? Well, it's HDFC Bank. Nothing to be worried about. HDFC Bank has been one of the finest contributors, up about 4.1% this week. That has helped both the Nifty and the Bank Nifty to break the shackles and move into higher orbits. L&T, Maruti, M&M and Cipla showing bit losses, and therefore it's getting pulled down. Let's look at some stocks which are in the how should I say, low ticket size but high beta, and the first one that comes to my mind is Federal Bank. This is both sectoral tailwind as also one of the best beneficiaries of the rally in gold. Remember, Federal Bank's portfolio of gold financing has been expanding very rapidly. Vaishali, what are the charts of Federal Bank telling you?
I think it's got into a momentum, and I think the stock is ready for a target of 170. So yes, I mean, long consolidation. It has been for a very long time in a range of 160 as resistance and support at around 140. So it needs to cross 160 decisively, and we would look for a target of 170. In fact, along with this, I also like IDFC First Bank.
Okay. Absolutely. Why don't you give a view on IDFC First Bank? Meantime, I'll come up with some very good data on Federal Bank. But IDFC First Bank for you, Vaishali.
So very long consolidation. If you look at the daily chart, IDFC First Bank right from 9900 levels, and it has just been sliding down. But 74, 75 levels, that was a very good support level. And from there on, I have been tracking this stock. It is getting into a momentum. Near-term resistance can come to around 86. But if we see ones like whole Bank Nifty on, I think this stock too should go above 86 for a target of again 95, 98 to start. So this is quite fairly priced even now to accumulate.
Actually, Vaishali, the crisis of plenty that we are facing across the markets is that, forget stocks. Sectors are rising rapidly, and within sectors, it's the stocks that are surging dramatically. So it's very, very difficult at this stage to rank top trades in a manner that satisfies both the ability to take risk and the ability to measure reward. At this point of time, Federal Bank, ladies and gentlemen, has traded something like 2 crore shares, and that is something to the tune of 2.5 times its 5-day average. So that's the breakout that I'm tracking on Federal. About 3.4 crore shares have been traded, almost 3 times the 5-day average, and the all-time high I think on Federal Bank is 165. Let me just check that. Yes, it's 165.83. We saw that on 16th of February, and it's almost kissing the previous candle, the one on 15th of Feb. Very, very strong moves coming in. It's now almost 3:02 p.m. I see a fresh move coming into Bank Nifty. The 49,000 call has become active. Yes, a fresh high on the Bank Nifty on weekly expiry day. I cannot sort of miss the irony here. And remember, HDFC Bank is in negative territory, so you can well imagine how strongly the contribution is coming in from State Bank of India, up almost 2%, 779. This was Vaishali's top pick. Let's look at Axis Bank, 0.8% higher, 1088. Let's look at Kotak Bank. Kotak is in fine shape. Actually, it's the top performer in the index heavyweight space, 2.7% higher, 1829. And bringing up the rear is ICICI Bank, almost flat, 1109, almost quarter of a percentage higher. HDFC Bank, like I mentioned, is 12 points lower, 1535. Vaishali, what is Kotak telling you?
Well, Kotak has been a laggard all this while, but I think it's a very good stock to consider. In fact, 1720, just few days back, we had seen that there was a minor dip, 1720, and from there on, it's making a higher top, higher bottom formation. And right now, it is also in the process of making a higher top. So I think in days to come, if you are a trader, 1850 is the resistance level. Above that, we are looking at 1900 plus. So yes, it is a positive stock, and this should perform well because it has been quite a laggard for a very long time. It looks positive from here.
Okay. And the price that you see on Kotak, ladies and gentlemen, is above its 200-day DMA. This is the highest it has seen since 2nd of February. And Vaishali is absolutely right. For years together, I think the last count that I did was for 2021. So for the last 3 years, ladies and gentlemen, the stock has gone nowhere. It's caught in this range of 2270 to a low of about 1545. It's been vacillating there for the last 3-4 years and has been a relative underperformer compared with the likes of ICICI Bank and Axis Bank. Sakshi.
Okay, well, on that note, thank you so much, Vaishali, for being with us onto this special edition and sharing all those wonderful stock ideas with all our viewers. Always a pleasure to have you with us and to see that with your presence, the markets always inch higher, never mind all the headwinds. Thank you so much for being with us. 130 points higher for the Nifty right now. It's inching closer to its all-time high levels now, 22,770. Let's now welcome our other guest on the show. Akshay Bhagwat now joins in. He's the Senior Vice President Derivatives Research at JM Financials. Akshay, warm welcome to you, and the markets are also greeting you with a smile at this point in time. Despite all the choppiness, how would you really look at the Nifty and the Nifty Bank right ahead of expiry? 25 minutes to go.
25 minutes to go, weekly expiry, a very strong close as I see. Expiry may be around just the levels where we trade 49,000 plus minus 50 odd points for Bank Nifty and around 22,750 plus minus for Nifty. This is where the expiry should be. But broadly, the setup is very strong and 23,000 is where Nifty should be aiming for soon. This may happen in the next week itself. So be ready for the 23K levels. And for Bank Nifty, 50,000 is where I see it very soon. So 48,500 is a very important support. Broadly, the setup is extremely strong and the momentum should regain from next week for especially for the bank index, which made the 50,000 mark.
Okay. Akshay, why don't you give us your two stock ideas as well that you'll be going with?
Yes. First one is Infosys. The results are on 18th of April. Now, if you look at the chart setup, it's a possible short covering candidate in the futures and options space. Clearly, 1480 base has been defined and the stock is now launching itself up. My expectation is 1580 to 1600. This would be the target area you should be working with. Stop loss should be 1460 on this buy trade. So first is Infosys. And on the second trade would be Canara Bank, PSU Bank, which has been slightly consolidating near its lifetime highs. 600 is a good support. 635, 640 are the target areas which I project. Stop loss should be around 587.
Okay. Good afternoon to you, Akshay. Uh, the market's welcoming you with a record high, specifically on the Bank Nifty, and this comes against the background of a red color on HDFC Bank. Your view on where Bank Nifty could be in April's expiry, and how does the index look in the short term?
April expiry Bank Nifty per se looks very strong. 50,000 is a magical number I look forward to in Bank Nifty. But here, if you were to dissect as to whether the private space or the public sector would do well in the banking arena, it's the PSU banking space which I feel should outrun the private banking space. So Canara Bank, Punjab National Bank, State Bank of India are the top bets here from the PSU banking space. Private banking might, just be a laggard in this next leg of rally in banking. That's what my sense is. So HDFC Bank, which you just mentioned, might just kind of consolidate. It had its fair share of run up lately, and even if it makes a high of the recent swing of 1560, 1580 is the max you can look forward to in the April series. So bet on PSUs. PSUs are the stock, these banks you should be betting on. Private might be the laggard in the next leg of run in the Bank Nifty.
Okay, and within the PSU segment, what would be your top two picks?
Top two picks. First is Canara Bank, which I just discussed. 635, 640 are the target areas I'm projecting in Canara Bank. And State Bank of India is the second top pick. Already very strong intraday gains, which we have seen today. And this is aiming to get past its recent swing highs of 790, 95 odd levels. 805 is the target area you need to be working with. So buy State Bank, buy Canara Bank. These are the two top bets in the PSU banking space as we move into the second half of the April series.
Okay. Let's take your view on the buzzing spaces then, Akshay, and help all our viewers really understand what to make of the move that we are seeing. Eicher Motors is back in action, 1.5% higher from the auto space. How would you look at this one? Fresh move emerging that could be sustainable?
Yes, this looks sustainable. All-time highs set in Eicher Motors, and as I see on the charts, the swing highs of 4,200 has been very smoothly conquered in today's trading session. So that's a very strong or a positive development. 4,200 is your new support base from a trading perspective. 4,475 to 4,500 are the short-term target projections. So buy or hold Eicher Motors. 4,500 is the broader target. Stop loss should be below 4,175.
Okay, so that's as far as Eicher is concerned. Beyond Eicher Motors, within the auto pack, are you also looking at any other stocks, maybe autos or auto ancillary also?
Here my top bet would be Ashok Leyland. Now, if you look at the price setup here, it's had a good recovery rally in the past few sessions from 160 to 178, a good. And remember, this stock somewhere has been a laggard, especially in the last couple of months, and has got life in the last 15 odd days. This move should target around 200 broadly. That's the target projection I have. Ashok Leyland is my best bet here in the auto space. 178 is the current market price. Buy at the current rate, target 200, keep a stop loss of 168 on this trade.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out on that as well. Very strong surge coming in across the board in the chemical space, which I had discussed with Vaishali. A whole host of stocks now pulling up along with the stocks that we discussed. Aarti Industries, Naveen Fluorine, Deepak Nitrite. Now along with it, Atul Limited is up and about in trade. SRF is moving up as well. You have Vinati Organics that's moving up. So the entire space is buzzing in action. Which would be your top bet in the chemicals basket, Akshay, that you could share with us?
Chemical basket, if you look at the day trading move today, most of them have been severely beaten down stocks which have reversed from their base. But here SRF is one stock which has shown a strong breakout a few trading sessions back. If you look at the broader chart setup, it's been consolidating. It's almost a 3-year plus consolidation range, and a breakout is almost been noted at the levels of 2,400. So positionally, this is a very strong setup in the chemical space. The support is 2,400. 2,800 right now, and you can work with targets of 2,850 if you are trading in this stock from a short-term perspective. Even from investing, you can consider the stock where I see targets of 3,100 to 3,200 in the next 3 to 5 odd months. So SRF is my top bet in the chemical space on the chart patterns I see.
Okay. Akshay, I'll get your attention to two chart formations. One is PB Fintech, a very good research report coming out giving a target of about 1700 rupees to this one, and the stock was up about 5% early morning. It's now retired at about 1328. What are the long term charts of PB Fintech telling you?
PB Fintech, if you look at the price history, post listing, if I'm not wrong, from 1500 odd levels, there was a very strong corrective phase in the stock from 1500 odd levels, and the stock has really recovered extremely well. And the way the chart setup is, all-time highs are the next target areas you should be working with, especially from a trading perspective. So at 1328, your target area clearly is 1500. That's the broader targets you need to be working with. 1275 is the trading support. Buy at current rate or even slight dips of 20-25 odd rupees makes it a better risk reward payoff profile. 1500 target, that's the target I see in PB Fintech, and that's the target you should be working with.
Okay. The point that Akshay mentions in terms of the listing month, that was in November of 2021, and the stock had a fabulous time at the time of listing. The all-time high was 1470, and from then on it's a terrible phase that started. It ended somewhere in October of 2022 when the stock hit a low of about 356 rupees, and then on it's been a one-word journey. So at about 1328, I would imagine that in late April or early May, you will see a record high coming into PB Fintech. A digit change in Zomato, Akshay, what are the charts telling you? We saw an intraday high of almost, just a shy of 200, 199.60. This, needless to say, is an all-time high. What are the chart structures of Zomato telling you?
Zomato also has a very strong chart structure. So it's been a one-way rally for this stock. Even lately from 150 to 200 in the last 15-20 odd trading sessions is a very dramatic move I see in this stock. So from a short-term trading perspective, if you are a fresh entrant or looking for entry on a small short-term perspective, I would say it's a bit overbought for comfort. So let there be a small corrective dip, possibly around 185 would be more lucrative level to re-enter the stock again. Positionally 230 to 240, these are the target areas you should be working with for Zomato. These targets should be hit within a time frame of 1.5 to 2 months. So buy Zomato. If you have it, hold for targets of 230 to 240. 185 is a better risk reward entry point. Your stop loss should be somewhere below 175.
Okay, we'll try and draw a long-term chart of Zomato for you, ladies and gentlemen. You'll be surprised, actually pleasantly surprised, that for the past 13 months, each month, the stock has had a higher high and a higher low, which essentially means that every single month since March of 2023, the stock has closed higher, and that shows how strength is looked forward to. Now in all-time high territory, probably a good entry level would be 185, as Akshay mentions. Sakshi.
Right, a whole host of spaces that are looking positive. Nifty Bank at a record high, 49,000 by its side. The mid caps also buzzing in trade. A lot of action really unfolding within the Nifty Bank. Akshay, could you tell us private sector banks? Where are you really looking at? You did mention Canara Bank as one of your starting picks, but private sector banks, would you be looking at any amid the momentum that we are witnessing?
Yes, so private sector banks, a couple of names which I have on my mind. One is Kotak Bank. So this is the strongest chart setup of the entire private banking I track in the FNO space. If you look at the last 3 days, it's been backed by long additions in futures, and also deep OTM calls are attracting a lot of buying interest. The chart setup on a longer term time frame is also hinting that it's been sideways and setting up for a major upside move from an investing perspective too. So as a trader right now, we'll concentrate on targets of 1875 to 1890. That's for the month of April or for the first week of May. Your support area is 1780, so a positive setup in Kotak Bank on the buy watch list, and Axis Bank is the second bank in the private banking space, which is setting up for a target area of roughly 1130. So buy Axis Bank at current rate, target 1150, stop loss 1048. This would be the top two bets from the private banking space.
Okay, so that's as far as the private sector banking names are concerned, and where Akshay is really positive on as of now. Let's find out if there are any other spaces that are inching higher. Of course, there's been the entire move that we've time and again revisited on the metals pack. And we've given you a lot of views from our guests through the day for this one as well. The power spaces in action, oil and gas names are buzzing in trade, and how Bharti Airtel, let me ask you on that one, Akshay, 2% higher right now, higher targets coming in from brokerage houses of 1500 odd. What should a fresh investor really do?
The charts are really very healthy. Just trying to move out of a short-term consolidation phase, as I see in Bharti Airtel. 1228 just builds up a good trading bet scenario too from the current rate. 1275 targets should be on probably by next week. So if you are a trader, buy for targets of 1275. Even as an investor, if you are keen on even buying at the current rate, looks a good technical bet at the current rate. 1475, 1500. The targets which you have are to the same targets I am working with. The support area is 1145 if you are a positional trader. So buy or hold Bharti Airtel. The broader targets are still yet to come. 1475, 1500 is the overall target you should be working with.
Okay, so those are the two stocks. That's Bharti Airtel for you, and of course we've discussed the banking space at large. Would you also give us your view on United Spirits and tell us where is the stock really headed? This one has been strongly moving from morning trade, now 6% higher, among the top movers as far as the FNO action is concerned, 1200 by its side now.
Yes, very strong intraday move, and even if you look at the broader charts, it's been a rough ride from 950 to 1200, but every dip has been bought into in the stock. That's the sense I draw looking at the last 5 to 6 months of trading action. So a very strong chart structure. 1150 is the trading base, and even as a BTST candidate, you can look to buy the stock for targets of 1230 for Friday's trading session. Broadly, the setup is for targets of around 1300 with a 1.5 to 2 months trading perspective. So continue to hold, or you can even consider buying it fresh. Targets 1275 to 1300. Stop loss should be somewhere around 1125.
Okay, staying with United Spirits, the volume that you see on the counter today is almost 41 lakh shares, 42 lakh shares. And this is the highest since 24th of July 2023. So almost a 7-month volume breakout, coupled with a fabulous rise in price, which is now pushed the counter at a record high. Given the fact that we are in almost peak summer in North India, and the product that United Spirits makes is imbibed with great enthusiasm and how should I say, partying mode. Akshay, I was wondering whether you like the product more or the stock more.
Definitely the stock.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. 322, ladies and gentlemen. The other stock that I wanted to check with Akshay is HPCL, Hind Petro. This is the second best performer in the FNO space, and it's about 6.5% higher. If you see the volume that's coming in on HPCL and the open interest, that's also substantially in favor of bulls. The first day of a great rally, Akshay, what are the charts telling you on HPCL?
Very well spotted, Shailji. It's oil and marketing companies have risen very strongly in today's trading session. They have had a kind of a rough ride in the last month. Strong weakness noted in most of these names, but today's recovery just sets up a new trading base in most of the names, whether it be IOC, BPCL, or HPCL, which we discussed. So 460 is a strong support base which has been formed today. The way the setup is, a base is formed, and now the stock is launching itself to revisit its level of around 530 to 540. That's the target area I'm looking forward to. So good gains should be there in the next 8 to 10 trading sessions in oil marketing companies. Watch out for this space. Support 460, stop loss below 460, target 540 is where you aim for in HPCL.
Okay, and if you see the FNO action in HPCL, this is the top performer within the oil and gas space. It's accompanied by a drop in open interest, which essentially means that a lot of bears who had made tons of money after pushing the stock from 600 rupee levels to somewhere like 451, they are now exiting the trade, and that's adding to a lot of enthusiasm for the long side. A good swing trade in the making. What else can we show our viewers which is moving on the long side? I think we must look at Cummins India, 3003. All of the previous week before the current one was a rally that was dominated by infrastructure stocks, and we have 3004 for you as far as Cummins is concerned. Anything that catches your fancy in Cummins, Akshay?
Cummins India, well, the charts are strong. It's just that the last 5 to 7 trading sessions have been stuck in a range. 2950 broadly is where it's been stuck. Today's intraday action is possibly hinting that the stock is reattempting a breakout and resuming its uptrend. 3150, 3200 is the target area which I would project from short-term perspective. 2900 is a stop loss. So buy or hold Cummins India for targets of 3200 is the suggestion.
Okay. Akshay, it's 325. Would you give us any BTST, STBT trades?
BTST, Sun Pharma, well, if you look at the last half an hour, 1 hour action, it's recovered very strongly, 1588 to 1600, around 12 to 15 odd rupees recovery. And if you look at the chart structure, very strong charts, a small consolidation in last 7-8 days. This can be the another pharma candidate which may strongly break out, maybe on Friday itself. So buy Sun Pharma at current rates. I would work with targets of 1650 for Friday's trading session. Stop loss today's low, which is around 1578.
Okay, so that's Sun Pharma as a BTST trade for all of our viewers right there. Towards the end of the show, how would you really advise investors and traders to move ahead on Friday? We only have one more trading day for this entire week, and then the next week will also be a truncated one. Of course, Friday is also the time when we will start looking at the IT earnings starting to pour in and starting the earnings season as well. So what would be the best approach that traders and investors can have?
See, even if it's a truncated week, the momentum in the market is really strong. The breadth is improving. The chart setups are hinting for some important landmarks being conquered in the month of April itself. So one should be a buyer. Even the mid-cap space, which was, in the lurk in the last month, has recovered very well. So absolutely, global weakness has been shrugged. It's been not considered. So ideally, it's a very strong environment we are in, and there is no need to be cautious or kind of take a back foot, because good returns are being made in a very short time duration. So look from a trading perspective, a lot of stocks are giving a lot of opportunities in the current market scenario. So I would recommend be a buyer, be invested. 22,500 is a good base for Nifty index. Till we hold above it, expect landmarks to be conquered.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this stage we'll now wrap up what has been a fantastic day and week for Nifty and the Bank Nifty. The index at 22,744 will be closing at a record high as far as the Nifty is concerned, an addition of 99 points on its weekly expiry. The Bank Nifty 48,923, about 192 higher, is also at a fresh record high. This was also the weekly expiry of Bank Nifty futures today. The gains have come despite weakness in the heaviest weighted stock, which is HDFC Bank. What has pulled the stock higher and the indices higher is of course a stunning performance from Reliance, 1% higher, 29.59. Infosys about 0.5% higher, 11 rupees 1506. Banks apart from HDFC Bank have come up with a very strong show. Kotak Mahindra Bank, the star of today, 41 rupees higher, 1821. Perhaps it's woken up from its slumber. State Bank of India 13 points higher, 777.5. Axis Bank 4 rupees higher, 1084, and ICICI Bank 2 rupees higher at 1109. Apart from the banks in the Nifty, those in the PSU banking index have shown very brightly. Among them Canara Bank, among them Bank of Baroda, Federal Bank, as also a host of smaller PSU banks. Let's look at the other gainers on the Nifty apart from the index heavyweights that we so often talk about. Today's show has been dominated by Coal India, BPCL, Hindalco and ITC, anywhere about 2.3 to 3.5% higher. As far as the declines are concerned on the Nifty, they are led by Divi's Lab, Cipla, Maruti and HDFC Life. Nothing to be worried here. These are all profit booking signs. Cipla at a record high. Divi's is the best performing stock on the Nifty in this week, up 10%. It's given back about 1.5% at this moment. As far as volume buzzers are concerned on the NSE 500, you've seen a very strong move coming in on data patterns, 11% higher, almost 3,000. Jubilant Ingravia 542, 10% higher. McDowell's, MCX, Petronet LNG and GMDC are the other bright spots in the market in terms of all-time highs. We've had McDowell, we've had KSP, Petronet, Indigo, Phoenix Mills, NAM India, Zomato, as also Eicher Motors. So that's how the market has moved for today as far as markets are concerned. A very strong close coming in on both indices, and both of them ending at not only days highs but at record highs. Sakshi.
Right, with that, many thanks Akshay for being with us onto this very special edition and helping all our viewers really navigate through all the moves and on the expiry as well. Hope you have a good holiday tomorrow, and when we see you back, until then, many thanks for joining us. Viewers, thanks a lot for tuning in onto Business Today TV, onto the closing hour trade, but do stay logged on as the action will continue even beyond the stock markets. Coverage from the world of business and finance will continue, so do stay tuned and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Many thanks for tuning in.
A strange quiet blankets the Congress office in Amethi. In what was once a stronghold for the Gandhis till 2019, the party's building wears a deserted look since Rahul Gandhi's defeat to Smriti Irani in 2019.
Another high-profile contest between Smriti Irani and Rahul Gandhi or Congress party will change the face of Rahul Gandhi with Priyanka Gandhi or Robert Vadra or some new candidate. It's going to be worth seeing. So let's go with us in Amethi and find out what Congress think tank is thinking and what the public mood of Amethi is.
Gandhi secured a seat in the Lok Sabha from Wayanad, Kerala. Congress has put him forward for re-election from the same southern seat in 2024. However, the party is yet to decide on a candidate for Amethi in Uttar Pradesh, pending Wayanad's vote on April 26th. Local leaders are urging the Gandhi sign to return to the fray in Amethi.
ये मन बना चुका है कि राहुल गांधी जी को लंबे अंतर से जितवाना है, और लंबा अंतर इसलिए कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोगों ने, यहाँ की सांसद स्मृति ईरानी ने यहाँ के लोगों से वादा खिलाफी की है। जो राहुल गांधी जी के कांग्रेस पार्टी के शुरू किए गए विकास कार्य थे उसे बंद कराने का काम किया है, तो विकास बनाम अमेठी के विनाश पर मुहर लगने जा रही है।
This demand is reflected in Congress's posters.
Congress is yet to announce the name of their candidate, be it Rahul Gandhi, Robert Vadra, or Priyanka Gandhi. The uncertainty over Amethi remains, while on the other hand, the BJP is on the ground. Smriti Irani, who is the candidate for BJP, and is trying, and she's also daring Rahul Gandhi at the same time, that in a way asking him to come here and fight against me.
Meanwhile, Smriti Irani of the BJP has thrown down the gauntlet to Rahul Gandhi.
Well, my challenge to Mr. Gandhi was very simple, that if he considers himself the tallest leader of the Congress party, he should fight only the seat of Amethi. हम कहते हैं कि अगर नेता वो है जिसको सहारे की जरूरत नहीं है, ये राहुल गांधी का मानना है, तो फिर वो बिना मायावती जी के, बिना अखिलेश के सहारे के अमेठी अकेले लड़के दिखा दें.
The public sentiment in Amethi appears split. Some support the incumbent, while others want Rahul Gandhi to return and win. If Congress decides to nominate Rahul Gandhi from Amethi alongside Wayanad in Kerala, the 2024 election for this prestigious seat is poised to regain its high-profile status.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Business Today Television. With surging demand for power, as also a very high summer predicted over the next 3 or 4 months, a lot of companies that provide the back end of power transmission, which is transformers, which is rectifiers, are coming in action. Our special guest today is Mr.